Hello, YouTube fans and Facebook fans of DX Engineering. It is Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's 17:15 Zulu on September 19th, 2023. This is Tuesday with DX Engineering, and we have a DX Engineering real live guy, Greg, K2GRG. Hello, Greg.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good, good. Greg, it's great to have you on. Your audio sounds really good.
Oh, good. Good.
As as all of our DX engineering customers that get microphones from us. But Greg, tell us about your story. How did you get started?
Oh, my goodness. In amateur radio. I actually, it was in shortwave listening back in the 70s. Um, I we got a mailing at the house and I got the mail that day. And I remember looking at like, wow, this company offered a shortwave radio and mom, dad, please, 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 please. And eventually they gave in and ordered me a radio that it was a mail order thing, and I enjoyed it. And then they upgraded me. My parents got me a Sony shortwave radio that I listened to for a number of years, and I enjoyed that. Took it on vacation, took it up in the mountains, started playing with antennas, and just did that for a number of years. And as far as getting into interest in amateur radio, it was my dentist of all things. He had, for reasons unknown, I can't fathom, but my family was always friends with our dentists. And my dentist said, "You want to see my ham radios?" Sure. And he lived in the same building his office was in. It was a high-rise building on the coast in California. It was on the just beach view. So we had, I'm thinking now, I know why he lived on the beach on a high-rise building and just excellent takeoff angles. But he, we showed me his shack, Collins S line, just beautiful stuff. And I was like, wow, 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 wow. And it always stuck with me. And that between my interest in radio there and my interest there, um, I worked a bit as a dispatcher with radios, and when I retired, that was like number one on my list was to get into amateur radio,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden here I am.
and it's worked out. So let's talk about call signs. Tell me the call signs that you've had over the years, Greg.
Oh gosh, I started off when I first got licensed. I was in the state of Utah, and I've moved around in several states, and it was. See, I have trouble remembering it. That's why I changed it. I was KG7 Charlie Lima Mike, KG7 CLM, and I couldn't remember it. Like, this is difficult and nothing catchy like clam. So I thought, oh, I could get a vanity call sign, but I'm going to move around the country a few more times. I wonder if I'll just get one that has my name in it and keep it wherever I go. So thus, I'm here in Ohio, but I've got a 2 call, but it's my name. So I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, no, K2GRG is a great call sign. Let's talk about what led you to DX Engineering, Greg.
Well, one day, much like today, I was sitting much like where I am right now, watching you here on this very computer, and you mentioned something about position becoming available in the retail showroom at DX Engineering. And I said, I know what I would like to do when I grow up. I want to be there in the DX Engineering retail showroom, and sure enough, I ended up there, and that was a blast. It's been a blast ever since.
Yes, and it's been great to have you in the store, and the customers love you. Greg, were you involved with some of the antenna testing last week?
A bit. I we did. an interesting project for testing new products, and it was fun. I'd never put together a vertical antenna before. Um, and it was good to be able to get hands on and set things up and hook up radials and do a little problem solving with all of that. And so it was a blast. That's a good thing about being at the in the showroom there is you get hands-on experience with so many different radios that it's kind of like being a little hamvention every day because you can take your time and get experience. So yeah, the testing was it was a blast
Yeah.
and good people too.
Yes. The whole team was there, and I'm glad you were there. The HF9V, and we're getting ready to reintroduce the 160-meter kit to the butternut. So that's a great thing. Tell us about your shack, Greg.
Oh my gosh, it's really a shack. I'm in um, basically it's a closet in a barn. That this used to have tools in here, but when I moved in, I just kind of had to convert it from a closet to a shack. So the antenna's outside. There's power for the amplifier coming down here, and um, UHF, VHF radio, number of monitors, and I'm gonna have to move the camera, I guess. But over here is the HF rig amplifier, green heron rotator for the from the OptiBeam up on the tower outside, waiting for a Yaesu rotator to come and replace the one that's there now. It's going to be there
So,
soon. Hope to get it in before winter. We'll see.
so tell us about the OptiBeam. Which model do you have?
Oh, 9 elements, 5 bands, and what an amazing antenna that is. It's it's the OptiBeam builds them quite well, and they have a great reputation. And it's packaged quite well, survived the trip from Germany in perfect condition. And it's a precise company. And when you go and unwrap things and sort out the nuts and bolts, and if it says there's going to be 18 number 10 washers, then there's going to be 18 number 10 washers. There's going to be exactly that they're all packaged, marked. It's almost, it's very precisely put together, very precisely packaged, and goes together very precisely.
Well, and I know you've helped a lot of customers that have asked questions about various antennas that we have. But I mean, you spend a lot of time in the store talking to customers that sometimes are not even hams. Let's talk about new hams, Greg. What do you think?
Yeah, it's we you the the DX Engineering store is inside the Summit Racing Superstore, so a lot of people don't know what all this is when they see the showroom. And first thing is, these are CBs. I used to have a CB back in the day, and what kind of fantastic looking CBs are these with band scopes and the whole bit? And then you say, well, guess what? These aren't CBs; they're ham radio. And it's like many people have someone that they know, whether it's a dentist, an uncle, cousin, the guy that used to live down the street or something like that. As a kid, they know someone who was into amateur radio at the time, and they like me back when they were a kid, they saw it and I always wanted something they were getting into. So it's really great to see people like, oh wow, these are ham. I didn't know that. How do I?
Yes.
And that's really it's really great to see. It's kind of just me reliving the same experience of Oh, now is the time to start getting into things. So it's a cool feeling.
Yes. And, and it's great that you share that same feeling with everybody that walks into the showroom. We've got some folks here in the chat room. I want to recognize Dawn, Whiskey Juliet 3 United is on and says, good afternoon, Tim and Greg. And our friend Ken from the Yankee Clipper Contest Club, Whiskey Oscar 1 November. Good to have you on. And Jose, X-Ray Echo 2 Zulu Zulu, he says he's on from Berlin. And our friend Michael, W3MLJ, one of our superstar young operators, and Ted, K8 November Alpha. Just great to have you on, Ted. I looked over at a plaque that we won in 1981, and it was sponsored by Ted, K8 November Alpha, from the CQ Worldwide contest. And Dan is on, WA4 Mike Oscar Mike. Good afternoon, Tim and Greg. I was lucky. I never had to change my call when I upgraded. And always great to have you on, Dan. And our friend Dino, who writes for onallbands.com. Hi, Tim and Greg. Will KD9SV products no longer be available? Wanted to write an article for On All Bands about my beverage and bog experience. Look for an announcement very soon, Dino, about KD9SV, but they will be available. So no worries there. Ted says tower is all working. Most of the equipment from DX Engineering really now ready for contesting and DXing. And our friend Kilo Mike 3 Papa is on as well, and does a lot of driving. So good to have you on. And Jeff, Papa Juliet 2 November Delta down in Curacao is on as well. Bob the Traveler, he just was back at W9DXCC last weekend. That's WD8NVN. And from Denmark, it's Oscar Zulu 1 Delta Whiskey X-Ray. And our friend Richard, Mike 0 Delta Sierra Kilo from the United Kingdom is on as well. Greg, give us some advice. Somebody that's watching today and says, hey, I want to get involved in this hobby. Give us some advice, Greg.
Wow. Oh gosh. There's so many different ways to go get into things now. And it's the traditional route is to get with a club or some people in your area and study, get the books in. But there's even, you don't have to get with a club. You can do things online. You can study online. You could order books online. You can take the test online in so many different ways. So I still think the best way is getting with a someone close by who can point you in the right direction, or give you a choice of directions to see which way is the best. But it's a buffet, and what if you get discouraged in any way, there's probably three other different ways to do it, and one way is going to sort you out. But I think getting with someone who will give you options. The traditional pitch I've heard from folks for a number of years was buy yourself a handheld, an inexpensive handheld, and first thing go out and upgrade the antenna on it, because that's supposed to make a difference. And it's like, and then take your general test, and it's like, that's not going to work out for everyone. And that handheld may become disposable, and it may work just fine. And I wish when I did it, that people gave me options, but I just kind of went with the flow and did things, and ended up selling off rather quickly a lot of the stuff that I initially bought. So, I did it nice because I bought it twice and finally got it right, but keep buying new things. Um, find someone to help you plan the route before you actually start taking too many steps down the road.
And if you're within driving distance of DX Engineering in Talmadge, Ohio, I mean, come on in and talk to Greg.
Oh yeah. Yeah, come on in and hang out with me, hang out with Mark, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's why we're there, and sample our wares, as they would say in the classic store. It's an audio hobby where radios sound different. We have different speakers. We've got um, yeah, if you're into CW, the keys are there. You could feel how they feel. You could hear the sounds. You could turn the knobs. It's a great experience. Again, it's
Oh,
just like being at Dayton, but you can take your time and don't have people you're not trying to cover 100 booths in an hour. You're there to enjoy.
Greg, one of the great things about these shows is that um, other DX Engineering employees show up. And here's our friend Dave, K Delta Victor. It says hello, Tim and Greg. And Dave is one of our superstars, and I know you have worked with him before. And also from Central Florida, it's Kilo Charlie 4 Lima Zulu November. And our good friend W9 X-Ray Tango, Gary, who was down at W9DXCC, and just has been his support of DX Engineering has been great. And also like to mention that we have over 160 different vendors that are part of DX Engineering. So, Greg, thanks so much for being on today.
Oh, you bet.
And we'll look forward to doing this again. Maybe we'll get you in the store and get you on here. But thanks for all you do for DX Engineering, and to all the DX Engineering employees that are watching today. Thank you so much. Let's keep helping hams have more fun on the radio.
Sounds good.
Until
Thanks
next
a lot,
time,
Tim.
73 from DX Engineering.